Hi, my name is Regression and I'm the creator of PI Migration, and welcome to this video where I'll give you some insight on how the migration part works. So the first thing we need to do is to create a new profile for this. And normally you just start up selecting a new profile called profile 2. And what kind of type? Is it XML or is it text-based? And well, text-based give you some different examples. It has some additional line breaks that if you're using EDI, that will create line breaks for you, making it easier. The text also has which line items do we want to ignore in this instance, and then those instances would not be counted in whenever doing difference. But we'll do an XML, and here we have the application route is the same for, well, the next one we have to select is migration or regression, and since this is migration, we'll select migration. And the application route is a place on the local file system where the server has access and where it can write and preferably persist these messages. The temp folder is not really good because, well, when the server is being restarted, these will normally be recreated, all the files in there. So it'll probably be a good idea to select some other ones. The next one, because we have chosen XML, is are there any elements that we need to ignore? Are there any attributes we need to ignore? And this is really a good thing to add these. And up here we'll put the header record, and we won't ignore that. In some instances, most often it's depending on the use case. Sometimes I've found that it's useful to put it in, otherwise other times I need to be aware that there's a change there. Then you'd identify where the folder within this root folder for the PI directory. So I'll just call this PI, and I'm connecting with business connector, so business connector. And here I can write a description, PI and business connector. And then I'll say create new profile, and says create new profile with these elements. It's okay. And when we go here, we can see it has created a new profile called profile 2. And here we can see the elements in it, and we can administer the profile. So manage is the place where you would create profiles and delete them. Edit profiles is more safe, and here you could just make some changes in it. And in migration phase, you can just clean both directories. So I will just select this EDI inbound profile, which is set up directly the same. The counter grouping is an element we have where I'll just show you that where it will concatenate multiple IDOC elements. Let's hope that one of these will give an example. So I'm currently processing 2 messages into this profile. Do be aware that you have selected the right profile up here when you're doing your comparison, because sometimes those will not always be updated as you'd like them to be. The add file will allow you to add some test files if you just want to test how this works. Edit profile we talked about. Compare all will compare all the files that has been created and give you an insight in what's going on. Let me just pause the video and get the files processed. Okay, so now I have processed messages where the file has been placed in PI Migration DO1/PI, and from the business connector in the folder PI business connector, where the business connector has been using this form and used the functionality around that. So now we have uploaded 5 files, 1, 2, and these is 2 files, 1 file and 1 file. We can see over here that some information about what type of mapping has been used here, operation interface that has been used. And if we do a compare test here, it will give us an overview of what the difference is between these elements and what we can see here. And obviously we can see that there's quite a bit of difference in this one. The header elements is a lot different from over here. We can see I have selected some different partners, and we can see down here this segment is not present over here. So there's definitely something to work about on this element, though I had thought that it was almost done, but apparently there's still some more work on this. But that's basically the way the comparison works here. I can download the XML file, and start that up and just view that in whatever XML tool I have. So it gives you easy access to the files, so you can compare the files in any form that you prefer. I don't know, it's maybe here. So here we have the XML file, and it's just an easy way to get access to it. The other thing here is I've put it counter grouping on, so that means that these files has a different format, and it's because I'm using the cburger splitter, and when you send one EDI file in through cburger, it will create multiple PI messages, and we want to have logged each message here. So that's why I've added this notation called 1.1.xml. So it before the XML adds 1.1, 1.2 if there's 2 files. In that way, this one will only work when all files for given file has been processed and exists. So you would only be able to do compare when all file has been created. And we do have the compare all if you want to compare all the files and see, just get an easy overview what's the differences between these documents. So that was how the compare all functionality worked and what you can use that for. So a good way to make sure you get tested all the elements and can see they're correct, but the basic is you can just see where you need to do some more testing in your mapping and finding these differences. Thanks for watching, and I hope this has been helpful in figuring out how you need to configure the PI migration in your scenarios. Thanks.